Welcome to the Celebrate a Sister podcast. I'm your host, Emma Walkinshaw, author, body confidence coach, and founder of The Embodied Woman and 21 Minutes of Morning Magic. You'll also find me on the yoga mat hosting retreats here in Australia and internationally. Each week, I chat with incredible women around self-belief, body acceptance, and embracing who we are, especially in midlife. We share real stories, challenge outdated beauty standards, and grow together through honest conversations. I am so glad you are here. Enjoy. Thanks for tuning in again to this wonderful podcast in this space where I get to talk to incredible women. This week is nothing short of an incredible woman. Ange has had a big life. She has a massive vision and she is making change as we speak. I found this conversation with Ange quite inspiring. It had me thinking about what's my purpose? What's my vision? Who do I want to help? I'm all about lifting other women up. And when you hear Ange speak about her vision and women, particularly from her home country in Nepal, no doubt you'll start to question, who am I supporting and who can I lift up? So enjoy this week's episode. The other beautiful piece of news I have this week is Yogi Lou and I have just released our third retreat, Wholehearted Divine Feminine Retreat in the south of India, taking place on November the 1st through to the 8th. So if you have been watching our stories and watching our adventures through India, please reach out. I would love to let you know of all the little intricacies and how this beautiful retreat is unfolding in the south of India. So if you are ready to explore another country, gather with beautiful women, do some wonderful personal development workshops and practices, find your rhythm and your groove, as well as exploring what India has to offer, Ayurveda and the landscape and the beautiful places that we will visit. I would absolutely love you to join us. So if India is on your list, reach out. The south of India is happening in November this year. There's a link in the show notes. But for now, go forth and listen to this incredible conversation with Ange. A big warm welcome to this week's episode of Celebrate a Sister podcast. Today on the podcast, I'm thrilled to be joined by a dear friend, Anjali Woodford, a passionate and heart-centered natural health and physical wellness coach. She's also the founder of GCWHYNP, which is the Gold Coast Wellness Networking page.
Women's Health Networking
page. It's a long one, isn't it, Ange? But we got it out. So that's the one, the Gold Coast Women's Health Networking page.
Yeah.
Through her work with Grung Fit and her powerful platform, she helps women with physical wellness as well as emotional and mental, and supports her community beautifully with a holistic approach, blending naturopathic inspired nutrition with physical wellness. She truly nourishes the whole self. She's deeply committed to helping others feel empowered in their bodies and vibrant in their lives. Her energy is just as uplifting as her mission. Welcome, Ange.
Oh, my goodness. I had no idea.
Hello, my darling.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
It is so good to have you. Now, last year, Ange was one of my beautiful guests on the Body Love Revolution. And I had been we've seen each other a bit over the last year, and I thought, gosh, Ange, I need to get you on the podcast. So she finally found a time in her busy little calendar, and here she is. But Ange, I wanted to ask you about, you have created an incredible group of women, and you have a background and a story. Are you happy to share, Ange, who you are and why you're so passionate about women's health and bringing together a community of women? Are you happy to share? Go for it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm so humbled to be here and be able to share what my mission is and, where we're going. So I am from Nepal originally, and now I reside in beautiful Gold Coast. But as a born as, sorry, my English, it might not be as perfect, but yeah, I sometimes I speak in Nepalese and English. Yeah, so I was born in Nepal in a small village called Lamjung, and as one of the among three girls, how do I say it? Like one of the eldest daughter, and because we didn't have a son, so we were. One of the villager came to me and said that, "Oh, your family is cursed." And I said, as a little girl, I'm like, "What do you mean by that?" Because you don't have a son. And at that time, I felt rage inside me. And, oh, how can you say that? You have no idea what we can do or what the girl can do as well. My little, like person inside me is like, but and fast forward, my parents took me to the city to study, and my dad had to go against my family because the girls weren't getting to educate at that time. But my dad, he wanted to educate me. That was very nice of him, and same as mom. So we moved to city, and fast forward, I could never be a good student, a perfect student, always struggling. but yeah, and my confidence wasn't there. And so fast forward, along the way, I went through sexual violence, and which led to eating disorder, mental health, and all that, and not wanting to live in this planet anymore, right? But luckily I met this beautiful group of girls who accepted me as who I was. Like, even when I was depressed as or whatever, they would never leave me by myself. They would drag me along, goes anywhere. And so that got me out of that mindset of how miserable my life is, but how amazing it can be. So I'm like, yay, and I got out of that. But along the way, I saw all the women struggling, right? And when I went through the violence, I told my friends and the family, but they said that being a woman, this is what you do, stay quiet, otherwise you'll be dirty, seen as a dirty, and you won't find any husband. So, stay quiet, and that's it. And along the way, I saw so many women struggling, like my aunt, my uncle, my best friend, and not for me, for them, it was normal. But for me, I took it all in. You are not happy. You've been abused, or you've been, but they were like, oh, it's normal. So they carried on. But I took all that in, and I always wanted to escape, because when I told them, I hoped, we all can come together and maybe do something. But then no one wanted to do anything about it. And I felt so lonely. And so inside myself, there was a mission. I'm going to run away from this place and everything will be fine. So I kept applying for the job overseas, and so many times I got rejected after rejected after rejected. But one day I managed to get a job on a super yacht. Can you imagine?
And yes, a super yacht. Crazy.
Join a boat in Holland. And coming from village to the, Kathmandu, and now all the way to Holland, that I didn't even know the idea of that. I had to do the seat buckle. I didn't know how to do the seat buckle on the plane, right? And I'm sitting there waiting, and I was hoping that someone will come and get me. And the Emirates, the lady, poor thing, she's like, you've been sitting here for a long time. Where are you going? And I showed a ticket. Oh my God, you have to go and check it, and you get it on the other side. I was like, oh, what is that? So she had to, send me over there and help me out. But anyway, bless her. And so I managed to get to Holland, and it was mind-blowing for me. It was like, oh, wow, it's like coming from third world country to that place it's incredible. So, okay, I have to make my story a little bit short. So, yeah, along the way, I start understanding that the women can say when we used to go clubbing. One of my youngest friend, I was 27, and she was like in her 20s or earlier than 20s, and she said to me, "Ange, when you don't want to dance with somebody, you can say no, or the men, you can say no." I was like, "What? I can say no to men?" And that time, I felt like, oh my God, no way that I could say no to men. And that was so empowering, and that stuck in my mind. And now that gave me that excitement of, of yes, wanting to stay, right? And the men, the way they treated you, like for example, my husband, the way he treated me is like, wow, the men never treated like this before, and all those things. And then I thought everything is perfect. And then, but once I got pregnant with my daughter, the fear of the first thing, I was so proud. I was so happy. I said to her I would touch my belly and I would say, "You are so lucky. You will be loved as you are. No one will hope that you are a boy or wish you were a boy. You'll be loved as you are, and your dad cannot wait to meet you and the whole family." And I was so excited for her. And but yeah, and then but later on, once she started doing these sleepovers, I start having that anxiety of, oh my God, how am I going to, if something happens to her? And but then my husband said, we cannot bubble wrap her. We can educate her, but we cannot, so we cannot stop her from doing things that she wants to do or her friends are doing. So that brought lots of past thing for me, and I had to start working on myself. And along the way, because I always wanted to help women, and I started the fitness side. So, and I would give so much, but still didn't click in, like there is something that I must do. This is not it. And I kept going on, helping, and along the way, working on myself as well. And then past few years ago, I founded Caucus Women's Health. And this platform has brought so much joy, as well as the past history within me. And I had to work so much in myself, because if I wanted to bring health and wellness in the community and be able to speak up for women, I had to solve my past as well as, because if I'm struggling with myself, that doesn't mean I have to be perfect, but along the way I am learning as well as bringing the awareness in women's health and wellness. So when I founded this platform, it felt in my stomach, oh my God, Angie, this is it. And I was bawling my eyes out. 4 a.m, I just sat down, and I had no idea. I'm not a tech person. I just sat on Facebook and just writing and writing and writing. And yes, and 8 o'clock, and I pressed the live button and it went off. And that's it. And since then, it has been such an amazing journey, and meeting all these amazing people along the way. It has been very humbling experience. And and I hope I answered your question. I think it's been a very long drawn one, but
No, fabulous, Angela. I really thank you for sharing what your background is. Yes, you are from Nepal, and I can only imagine coming from a village where women are certainly, and you and I have had a discussion before we hit record, what's just accepted in a small village, and that was a great example when someone come to you in the village and said your family's cursed because you don't have a boy. So already there, men are put on a pedestal over women, straight up in your life. A blessing, though, that your parents chose to educate you. Thank goodness.
Yes.
Thank goodness. And then taking you to the city to educate you, even though you felt like you weren't a great student.
No.
But then still having that courage and bravery after trauma, after sexual violence, and growing up in a village and in a construct in a country where women are not valued and they are not up with the men at all. And then you saying, I'm going to go overseas. And then, of course, getting on a plane, that's the best. You don't even know how to put a buckle in and you're waiting on the seat, waiting to go to the next transfer to another gate.
I had no idea how to do that.
No idea.
No.
And even just the courage to do that. And, the things that you remember, which is that beautiful friend that said to you, you can say no to a man who wants to dance with you in a nightclub, because your past was whatever the man says, you do.
You just nod and yes, and you never ever look at them in their eye. You always look down, because that is the sign of respect in my community back home. So it took me a very long time to be able to do eye-to-eye contact on this side of the world. And I didn't realize if you don't look at them, then it's rude. It's like other way around, right? And I was like, yes. So sometimes my chief stewardess, she would say, look at me, and when I'm talking to you, you look at me. I'm like, oh, that is so scary.
Yes, and so the opposite what you were raised with. Yes. Then you come to the point in life where you're about to become a mum and having a daughter. And I can only imagine that realization. Here you are in the Western world, married to an Australian man, and you know that this daughter is going to be loved and adored by her father and taken care of. But I can understand how your trauma then ignited when all of a sudden now I've got to keep my daughter safe. How am I going to do that? Because no one kept me safe. Yeah. So how am I going to keep her safe? I can absolutely understand that. And I love what your husband said to you, though. This is about educating her. We can't wrap her in cotton wool, but we can educate her. And your beautiful community, would it be fair to say that your main goal is education now and awareness?
Awareness, yes, absolutely. Yes, because on this side of the world, in Australia especially, I'm talking, and so I see so many opportunities, so many resources, but people still doesn't know, and they still so much to talk about, still so much awareness and needs to bring and educating people as well in here.
Yeah.
And then as well as, and because in Nepal, we don't have those resources,
Yeah.
And so I can see that part of it. And then, now I got lost where I was going with it.
So it is the awareness and the education. And I know what you mean. Yes, the resources are here, but people still don't know about it, because the truth is, here in Australia, domestic violence is horrific.
Yes.
We are losing women daily here in Australia through domestic violence. I guess in Nepal it was similar but different, but you didn't have resources there. We have resources here.
Yes. Yeah, women can go, and I know lots of times to ask for help might not be easy. In here, at least we have the resources. There are people, there are organizations who would help. But in Nepal, the women are, I have seen the example, when you get beaten by husband, it's a pride, because that is how your husband loves you. Showing if he's jealous, then that means he loves me. That, in that sense. So it's so educating women there, and for men, that is not how you show your love to women.
Yeah.
So it's coming towards that, educating the whole society and breaking that cycle and taboo. And in here, yes, there is resources and everything, but we need to help those women more. For the, and bringing all these women who can support as well as who need support, right?
Yeah. I do agree with that. It isn't just a woman's problem that she is being, domestic violence or sexually abused. That's not just a woman's problem. It's everybody's responsibility to pull together. It's up to other men to pull other men up. It's up for us women to notice when our friends or people in our community aren't themselves, or we can see that they're withdrawing or closing down, or even, and your experience of an eating disorder. I mean, that is another thing that we will often see, self-harm, eating disorders when women are in trouble. But it isn't just about women. And you said something interesting before we hit record. Women talking to women is wonderful. Yes. But then it does make it secret women's business when it's not just a woman's problem. It's not them against us. It's all of it. It's everybody. And I really enjoy that holistic approach that you've got around we need to be speaking out from everyone. And although you live here in Australia, I know that you're very passionate about helping the community in the village in Nepal. Yes. I know that is a big pull for you. So moving forward, Ange, how are you wanting to support those women in Nepal? What are your thoughts?
So I have been going through lots of turmoil in my mind to be able to provide the best way I could. Because the best option that the organization, my accountant, has given me is to collaborate with the organization in there, and then we'll be able to, it's easier for us, and then it's easier for us to show the numbers to the government, But by the time the sum we have beautifully donated with the big heart and but the money, when it goes to organization, then it's trickling down, right? They have to pay the staff, them and organization, By the time it goes to the real people, there is not much left. So what I've been trying to do is, what's the best way that I can give that sum to the people who really needs it, Like a few weeks ago, I was watching this documentary in Nepal. So the girls are playing soccer without shoes. No socks, right? If we can, those kind of stories just gives me, makes me upset that they should, how can we provide shoes and socks for them, We are we go to Kmart, we get it for, and the jersey, they don't have clothes to run in, or do these sports, and they're just doing it whatever they have. And when they have to go in a competition, they don't have any, not a similar jersey as a team, or, they don't have to spend money to go when they go to city. So that made me realize, how can we directly be able to provide them? So that is, at the moment, I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I know that you have got a cousin who is a school teacher in the village, and she was even sharing with you that there's children without clothes for winter. Yeah. And I would imagine it's very cold in Nepal in winter, and going to school being cold isn't conducive for someone to get educated. So I understand what you mean. And this is a problem because you want to support, but I also get that the money that potentially comes in gets trickled, like you say, by the time it trickles down to the warm clothes for kids, there's nothing left. And I know that you are working on that, and I'm excited to hear what happens in the future with you being able to find a solution, apart from, like you said, you physically getting the money and going over there and and dispersing the money, which, I mean, that's not ideal, is it, Ange? But I understand what you mean. That's been, the past, which is tricky. So, Ange, how, with your beautiful group, the women on the Gold Coast who gather, and I am one of your women in your community, and I do love when you host a beautiful gathering. And I know each month you always have a theme and you bring a topic to light. What's this month's theme, Ange? Are you happy to share a bit about this month's theme and how you're supporting women and educating this month?
So we have different topic every week. So, but the month, a catching up month is 1 month. We are focusing on wellness for the practitioners. So last month we did art therapy for the practitioners. It was beautiful. And so this month we are only going to do the networking, but we will organize the activities, how we can, make that. Sometimes we all come out of the comfort zone, but, not knowing how to connect with other people, but we create those activities to, like, okay, you have to talk to this person or that person, or, be able to provide that space to get the most out of however we can, right? And most of the time, I don't know, but I am like, is your heart singing, Ange? Is it, have you given your best? Are you taking care of your people the best you can? Because I feel like there's thousands of people, and how am I giving them the best? I'm questioning myself, and it makes me feel miserable if I am not providing them the best.
Yeah.
But I had to start thinking, am I providing the best to the people who are engaging, who wants to be part of this community? And if they're interested, they're engaging already, right? So I am here to give them the best of what we have, because I have now little friends, girls who helps me, Claire Hams, and she helps me with the social, and she is what do you call the
reflexology?
Reflexology. Yes. Yes, and Mignon, and they all help me when I'm having a hard time. So we have this little accountability group. So we put it there, and what we're going through, or, family wise, or work wise, or whatever, and we all put in our ideas or suggestions and advice, and that has been big support for me. And and every time when I feel flat, I rise above again, and I thank you to those girls. Yeah.
Yes, because that's it, community, and particularly with other women who are doing similar work, because like you, Ange, it's a giving role. I'm in a similar profession as a body confidence coach. It's giving all the time. So it's really lovely to have a community. And I love the theme, and that everyone did art therapy. I was actually in India and I missed it, but I love the fact that there was, I missed it, but I'll be there this month. But it's great to bring that community of practitioners. And what I love about it too is I know that it's a great referral source. If I've got a client that I can't help, there's another person in our community that will be able to help them. And I love that you do bring women together in that way, because together we're stronger, without a doubt.
Absolutely. Yes.
Without a doubt.
So even we are in the same occupation, how you deliver is completely different. So I don't, in the past, I used to think, oh my God, she's taking, or how am I going to compete with her? But instead of thinking in that way, we all like providing in a different way, in our own authentic way, even we're doing the same work. So, or they might have different modalities they add in. And then, if you cannot provide your client, maybe refer to somebody else who can. So that is how we're building that strong community. That is why, when you come person to person and then build that connection, and I think that is when we truly get to know each other and refer each other with the comfort, without feeling, is that person the right person that I refer to or not? But because, I think I have noticed myself, when I meet the person, you feel that energy, you feel that, how they, the little things, how they take care of other people around them. You don't have to sit down and interview them, right? You can see all those little things, aspects of them that actually, I love that person and I would love to connect with them. And that is why we are doing the events every month to build that connection and community. So we have that tight bond as well as be able to support each other, right?
Yeah. I agree, because since the pandemic, a lot of us have gone online, and I know myself personally, I love the coffee catch up where you get with other practitioners or other coaches, or all the different beautiful women are there, because it is lovely to connect face to face, because we are online a lot now. So it is great to connect. And I know what you mean. People come with an energy, and then you go, this is about collaboration, not competition.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Now, Ange, I have to ask the question. Tell me, what is your morning routine like? I want to know, and you as a woman who is a very busy woman, business owner, children, you do a lot of giving. What is your morning practice like?
Okay, so my morning routine is a bit, different, maybe different than we're all different, right? What am I saying? But so most of the time I wake up around 4 or 4:15, 4:30, and that time, and I do my meditation and journaling. And after that, I make my kids lunch. And then after that, my workout. Sorry, that was Kieran's birthday balloon. My my apologies. That was like party. Yes, and and throughout the day after I drop off the kids, I come back, and then my work starts for my beautiful community, Gold Coast Women's Health. And I have been doing lots of live in the movement, the fitness side as well. I'm trying to promote fitness, not as in fitness, but coming to this age, I have realized movement is so important, not for the aesthetic side, but to feel strong. And, as we getting older with the women, we start losing our bone density and the muscles than, other people. So we have to do for that sake, So I'm trying to promote that, the why movement is important, not for the aesthetic side. Some people might have that, wanting to improve in that side, but it's so much better when you want to feel stronger from inside, and you feel so confident when you're strong inside, right? And then you be able to play with your children and be able to move your body without having aches and pain. And that is my goal to spread. So we come live every 15 to 20 minutes. Monday and Thursday is private, but on Wednesday I do the free one. So everyone can join in, and it's like 5 minutes of what can we do in 5 minutes? And it's like we underestimate that, but then we can do a lot. And so I want to show that possibility that movement doesn't have to be dreading 2-3 hours one. The consistency of every day, looking after yourself, moving your body. So yes, that, and then we do lots of live in Gold Coast Women's Health as well. We have different topic every week, and this week is World Health Week. So today is World Health Day. So this year they have a theme. They have a theme every year. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone. So this year they're going to work on helping every woman and baby survive and thrive.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes, so they are going to work and collaborate under this umbrella for throughout the year. And because this means so much to me as well, because in Nepal, parents are still not allowed to know the gender of the baby because the high aborting chance of the baby girls.
Oh my goodness.
So the government had no other ways they could control that, but controlling that they are not allowed to know the gender of the baby when they're
right. So in the past, so in the past, if the gender was revealed and the family was having a baby girl, they would abort.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And
See, and a lot of this stuff we don't even realize.
and it's still happening. So
And it still happens. So it's now illegal to find out the gender of your child in
no,
Nepal?
no,
No.
it's until to this day, it's illegal. You cannot find the gender of the baby.
Okay, so it is illegal. You can't find the gender of your baby right now in Nepal. Thank goodness.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
So yes, so it's still happening, but I think this might be more under control than.
Yeah.
But that is another thing I want to bring in the community, that awareness that you just have to give opportunity to that baby. I think everyone has the right to be born and live and achieve that amazing things, what they are. I know in Nepal, because lots of parents, the idea is that girls will get married and go away, and they have to give lots of dowry when they get married.
Yeah.
And but with the men, they are responsible to take care of them, the parents.
Yeah.
So the parents, that's why, for their own future safety, they wish to have a boy.
Yeah.
But the time has changed, right? Time is changing every day, and the girls are doing amazing things that, it
doesn't have to be that way. Yeah.
Yes, just need opportunity. They just need an opportunity and have the rights to be born and grow.
Yeah.
And so yes, and World Health Organization is going with this theme, and I'm so grateful.
Yeah, me too. Change is possible. And Ange, I think that's what I love so much about the work that you do, your own personal story. And I know we've only just touched on it today, but your own personal story and the adversity and the trauma that you've been able to work through and still work through and probably will for the rest of your life.
Yes.
However, you've now arrived at a place, and like we spoke, you're not coming from a place of anger. You're coming from a place, how can I now make a difference? And you are this beautiful community that you've created. Your vision will unfold even more with how you support the village back in Nepal and support women, and change is happening. And this is the thing, the answer doesn't all come at once. It's in small, tiny little steps.
Yes.
And often those small, tiny steps make a massive difference. And without one step, not another step can happen. So, Ange, thank you so much for sharing today your own personal journey. And if people want to join you for your quick, I love your whole methodology about let's see what we can do with this body in 5 minutes. It's about being strong, which comes more confidence. It's not necessarily about the aesthetics. I do agree with that. I say, I heard a beautiful saying from Shelley Horton, which is strong, not slim, or strong, not skinny.
Yes, I have watched some of the live. Yes, it's the Body Love Project, right? So that is, and you have inspired me to just constantly remind myself, as much as, because coming from the ED background, I'm constantly thinking about my aesthetic side, because how I should look, and because, in the past, the people will call me on the street, a fat girl, and those kind of things. You're like, comes, but then, and you're not the same girl anymore, But how do you want to feel, How, are you showing up for your children or your husband, with the excitement, or you dreaded and you're tired, exhausted after the 2 hours workout, or you're so sore that you can't even move, or, how are you feeling in your body? You might look great, but then how are you going on that side, right? So, focusing more in becoming stronger and, looking towards our future as well, going to we are all talking about menopause, perimenopause these days, but, the bone density and the muscle mass, yes, you might look solid, but if you want to live quality life, that is what you want. You want to be solid and beautiful out.
Yes, that's it. And like you say, yes, it is. Our body is our temple and we treat it with love and respect. And for it to be strong and flexible is wonderful. But also, our emotional side is also about us being well emotionally, physically, spiritually. It's well rounded. And I don't know if I've ever got it all into balance at one time. However, I will never stop trying.
Exactly. That
Never
trying
stop
is
trying.
yes, because with me as well, I have to constantly keep working from my past things, like ED and the mental health side as well. So they all try to, but the more we work, the more I'm working on, it's becoming easier for me to check on those triggers and my cycle. And hey, and you're going towards that cycle again. You're looking at yourself too much in the mirror because, I was like, oh, hang on, that is not who I am. I want to be strong from inside. But when I start looking at myself in the mirror, that means I am not emotionally, strong. So I want to feel strong from inside, but not, So I am trying to bring that awareness in women. How we can
soothing the inner critic that tells us that our reflection isn't good enough, that we didn't do enough, our workout wasn't long enough, look what you've eaten. Like the inner critic can be so loud sometimes, as well as our environment, what we're having, what we're being exposed to, whether it be our Instagram feed is of AI or AI generated bodies that aren't even true, or unrealistic beauty standards. So that is our constant self-awareness, is checking, how am I going here? Am I a little bit off kilter? But I think that'll be our lifelong work. And that's why getting in community with other women like you, provide other health practitioners, is really helpful. Like-minded women is brilliant.
Same for it's not only supportive for the community, but for myself to be able to ground myself when I surround myself with the people, like-minded people. Because otherwise if I'm constantly, my feed is like AI generated people and people who are looking at the aesthetic side, I will be constantly, so I have started unfollowing what doesn't serve me. So, people watching this maybe want to do that the same, unfollow.
It's helpful. If you can feel yourself, your inner critic really starting to compare you against something that potentially is not real and true, that's when we go, oh, this is probably not helpful for me right now. It is a good tip. So my darling Ange, I am going to put all of your links in our show notes. So if anybody wants to go and join your beautiful page and do a quick little workout on a Wednesday, or if anyone wants to check out your beautiful community, your Gold Coast Women's Health Networking page.
I don't know. I just came up with it and I ran with it. So I know it's a mouthful. That's why GCWHNP.
Yes, that's the page, but I'll put in the show notes. But Ange, today I have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation as always. Thank you for joining us on the podcast, Ange. And no doubt everyone will give you a follow and check out your page. But again, thanks for sharing, Ange.
Yes. If this resonates to any of you, thank you so much. And yes, I would love to connect and, and do the better. And like you said earlier, we are stronger together. So let's support each other and grow together, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Ange.
Yeah, Ma. Bye.